So it's Women's Six Nations time again, and I'm going to carry on with the theme that I did last year of following England's journey through the Six Nations as they build up to the World Cup later this year. So that's kind of the lens I'm looking through it. I'm also obviously going to see the other 5 teams as England play them, but this is very much a series where I'm following England's journey towards the World Cup. This is because I think they've got a great chance to win it. They are currently the number 1 ranked side in the world, and they are definitely the best side in the world. We haven't seen New Zealand at their best for a while because they've kind of been in lockdowns. Last year we didn't see them at their best. France are definitely a real threat, and Canada maybe as well. In this Six Nations, it looks perfectly set up fixture list wise because it's probably going to come down to that last game of France versus England, mirroring those the men's fixtures, so it works really, really well. England probably should win their first 4 games, as probably should France. Actually, we just saw Wales beat Ireland, which is fantastic for Wales. They've got some, professional players now, which may well have helped. Ireland on a little bit of a slide, to be honest. Not quite the force they were. Scotland, are okay. Italy aren't too bad, actually. But England and France are definitely the powerhouses and should make it through to that finale in the last week. But anyway, this game was really interesting, Scotland versus England. First of all, it was on a 4G pitch, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't like that. This is top international rugby, and this is how I treat all my approaches to women's rugby, exactly the same as men's. That's how you show respect. It's top elite rugby, and games I don't think should be on 4G pitches. I'm sure they have reasons for it. The players don't really like it. The bounce is too high. I know it kind of guarantees interesting, exciting rugby with probably lots of tries, but I still think top international rugby should be on a high quality grass pitch, and it just looks wrong when the pitch is right next to Murrayfield. Anyway, let's get into the game. Scotland actually attack really well in this game, as shape-wise. They really know their stuff. Their handling's pretty decent. They spread their players out exactly how they want them. The problem is the whole game is they just don't have that power and punch, which is possibly due to conditioning as well, because they are a part-time team and England are full-time. And it takes 10 minutes for England to get into the groove, and it's the first try for Packer, who actually gets a hat-trick in the game. Now, Infante, the England scrum half, had a really sharp game. Very clever here. Waited for that referee's whistle, which he knew was coming. As soon as it came, tap penalty, off she went, and set up the try for Packer in the end. Scarrett takes the kicking when she's playing instead of Rowlands. Rowlands is a decent kicker, actually, but Scarrett knocking over the goals. So good to see her back. And England in this game, wisely, not actually running everything, because I think they know that Scotland's kicking game isn't the best for distance, and England are very strong in the ruck area, in that tackle area, and they're quite happy to give Scotland the ball, especially in their own half, and then defend because they think they're going to get joy from it. And they do, to be fair. We get a try for Poppy Cleal, who's playing 6 blindside in this game. Last year we saw her play in the second row and number 8, showing a versatility playing 6. I'm not sure it's her best position. I'd much prefer her playing at 8. Sarah Hunter, a good leader, but as far as number 8s go, Poppy Cleal probably quite a long way above her. But in an ideal world, you'd probably have 3 clones of Poppy Cleal playing 6, 8 and in the second row. But anyway, it's Infante again sniping that makes the actual attack in the first place. Scotland looking a little underpowered with those big England forward carriers. Poppy Cleal crashes over, I think it's under the posts, 0-14. So bad news already for Scotland. Not the start they wanted. But they do get their try, and it's a very nice try from their line out, and their line out was really good, as was their scrum. 2 big strengths for Scotland, and it's a long line out throw, which was again working really well from them. Sharp hands and a little offload at the end as the final player committed 2 players, and they go in the corner with Rolly, and they're absolutely delighted, as they should be. Tidy try, back in the game. What can they do? England were a bit clunky at this point. The forwards in the back line were actually slowing the ball down a bit, standing still. The pull behinds were too obvious at the moment. That did get a lot better, to be fair. And like I said, in this first 15 minutes, England's big strength was their jackal, their ruck contest, which was that bit quicker and more powerful than the Scots, and causing the Scots all sorts of problems, even though they were going through their attacking shapes pretty well. Another note, Return of Scarrett adds a massive running threat to that midfield. Looks really good midfield, and especially in this first half, she showed her passing range, especially those soft little passes, kind of no-look passes, put people into space in very tight areas. Impressive comeback from leg break for her. Anyway, we get a try for Cowell in the end. It's Muir with a huge carry, bump, and there's an offload from Rowland in there as well. So really good try, actually. So that's 15-19, and the game is slipping away from Scotland with this flow of tries, and another one comes. It's a cracker this time, and it's a Scarrett again with those soft hands, releases Dow. Searing pace, good handoff, searing pace to finish. That was good, top try there. 5:26, and it's probably the game over at this point after 24 minutes, which is really dispiriting for Scotland because they are well organised, they are decent, but that power and pace of England, just too much, the class just too much, just showed the difference in levels, especially between the full-time and the part-time. Anyway, it's still a good game. Kildana, just made a note here, has probably put on a little bit of muscle since last year. She's a slight, very good runner, but she looks a little bit more powerful in this game. I don't think she actually had the best game, but that was just something I noted. Then we get Packer's second try, and it's really impressive. Scotland, just can't resist England, 5-metre maul. It's too easy. They absolutely smash over for that try, 5:31. Again, on half an hour, just making a note, the attacking phases from Scotland are very tidy. That's the way I describe it, tidy. But they just don't carry enough threat, and England are there with a turnover or the penalty or the good counter-ruck to clear the danger and get the ball back. Now, the misery for Scotland in this first half doesn't end. Into the red in the end of the second half. It's a top try, maybe the best yet. The passing is much better from England now. They're maintaining momentum on the passes. The pull behinds are more deceptive. And lovely ball play from the prop Burn. Really impressive. She looks in really good physical shape, actually. Creates the try for Infante, who deserves that try. 5:38, so a massive half-time score. Now, the second half was pretty weird, to be honest, because Scotland had the best of a lot of it. They had lots of great possession in good positions. But it was still England who scored the 3 tries and Scotland got absolutely nothing. So it's a weird one. Scotland will be very happy with the way they attacked and created lots of possession and threat, especially off their set piece, scrum and line out, but not scoring. That's a worry, although England's defence is pretty exceptional and they're tackling pretty monstrous. Anyway, it is good attacking from Scotland. Lots of indiscretion from England. They really went the wrong way with penalties in this second half. Lots of good solid set pieces and tidy hands. They really should score, but England are just, saving the day, or Scotland are knocking on. So tough on Scotland, and England, I think, could have had a yellow card definitely in this second half. I think that was a fair complaint if Scotland put that one up. Clever little change of tactic, though. 12 minutes in it takes for England to try, but they haven't done the chip kick yet, and they go for the chip. It looks like they're going to run it. Scarrett hangs back, so it's not obvious it's the chip. I quite like it. Aitchison follows through, and it's that tricky bounce on the 4G again that maybe does it, but it's a bobbling ball. Aitchison touches down. Nice try. So even though Scotland are looking good, England pull further ahead. But it's back to Scotland. England's ill discipline is really putting them in problems. There's good speed of the ruck from Scotland. There's some offloads, but it's just not good enough. They're not getting over the line. Dispiriting stuff there. And indeed, England take their 2 best players off at this point. Poppy Cleal and Scarrett go off. Which kind of shows job done for England. Can they operate without them? Well, actually, England don't play that well without them, to be honest. Even though they do score 2 more tries. They empty the bench. Give the subs 20 minutes, which is a good idea, but I don't know if he'll be completely happy with that 20 minutes. But it was a good maul for the next try. No nonsense stuff. Scotland absolutely no answer for that maul all game. And then another try, a loose kick from Scotland, and it's a really good scything counter-attack. I think it's Rowland releases Singh, who makes a good 40 metres mazy run, and eventually it's Packer who crashes through for her hat-trick, so that's quality stuff. 5:57, and that's how the game's going to end, even though Scotland go back to some really good set-piece, long throws on the line-outs again, loads of great attacking positions, just can't get over the line, don't carry quite enough running threat, to be honest, or power. It's not good enough, to be honest. It does show there is a difference in class there, but still, as a rugby side, you've got to say Scotland are very well trained, very well drilled, look like they know what they're doing. They just need to carry that greater physical threat. Last couple of notes here. Roland has the ability to kick the ball 40 metres to clear, which Scotland don't have. And then the replacement centre, Reid, who came on for Scarrett, just not quite physically the same standard as Aitchison and Scarrett. So they need to find that replacement centre, I think, for the quality of Aitchison-Scarrett, which looks like a World Cup pairing to me. Anyway, full time, 5 points to 57. Much better half for Scotland, even though they scored 0 points, which is, the irony of that. England kind of hanging in with strong defence, but, if you can win matches when you're not playing that great in one half of the halves, that's pretty decent. It's momentum, stuff to build on, but still some really good tries as well. All that damage in the first half. What I would say is a little bit of a worry is when the subs came on, they looked, a worse team than the starting team. You want the subs to really add something, and maybe they didn't quite. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of that game, and I'll catch you next time.